Hello scholars, welcome back to the Kemet Maasai Academy. We are continuing our series of videos motivating our students. So I'm going to be reading again from the Students Master Plan, Hardcore Rules for a Lifetime of Success. And the topic that I'm looking at right now is entitled, Use What You Know to Find Out What You Don't Know. Use what you know to find out what you don't know. So, use what you know, use what you have to get what you need. Human beings are problem solvers. It's how we roll. It's how we have evolved. It's the reason why we are the dominant species, for better or worse. We love a good mystery. We hate unanswered questions. We find satisfaction in seeing the solution of a case. If there is no case, don't worry, we're on it. We'll create a case. We'll invent a problem just so we can solve it. Some people even make it a career to unravel mysteries and solve perplexing problems. Detectives, lawyers, mathematicians, coroners, private investigators, mothers. Are mothers problem solvers? Yes, mothers are problem solvers. We should put teachers on the list. As a student, you too are part of the elite core of problem solvers. Welcome. One of the first rules of this field is to identify clues. Observe and gather every bit of information that can help you solve your problem. This is like laying out all the available pieces of the jigsaw puzzle so that you can get a clearer picture of what goes where. In your work, your clues would include your notes, all the things you remember from your teacher's discussion of the problem, of the topic, as well as hints worded or drawn in that particular problem on the paper. Start with what you know. Make inferences and use what you know to find out what you don't know. Students today are exceptionally lucky. They ride on the shoulders of giants. Students today benefit from hundreds, sometimes thousands of years of information handed down through countless generations. This information has been sieved, filtered, refined, modified, formatted, and revised. A student today takes up a book of mathematics, science, geography, or chemistry, loaded with definitions, formulae, examples, and explanations. All the student has to do is read, understand, and remember. Very little original thinking is required, except for those inclined to do so. It is, of course, recommended, but in today's world, not absolutely necessary to get by. Some of us may think that it is hard, but consider the people before us who had to do the original work, literally from scratch. Literally from scratch. Think about a world before there were textbooks, perfectly trimmed and bound and decked with pretty little pictures, notes, and formulae. Somebody had to come up with the formulae. In fact, hundreds of people all throughout history, usually working single-handedly through great hardships, had to do the original work. They had to use the very limited knowledge of their era to find out information that the world had been waiting for and that is still in use today. the trailblazers, the avant-gardes. For many of these people, the time and place in which they lived were not conducive to research and new theories. This meant that when they presented their findings, some of these people were ridiculed, fiercely challenged, even killed. Some of the facts we take for granted today were paid for with the lives of their discoverers. We now live in a world in which it is much more acceptable to question things and hold them up to scrutiny, even long-established facts. This is encouraging for problem solvers. We have so many resources and so much information at our fingertips. In other words, we have vastly more clues than any other generation that has ever lived, because we walk around on the shoulders of our ancestors. We are able to see even farther ahead because our foreparents have laid the foundations on which we build. We have literally millions of clues, tagged and numbered and color-coded. All we have to do is have the diligence to put them together. So as scholars, we are problem solvers. Remember, the whole point of getting an education is to be able to solve problems. Remember, you are to develop independent thinking, but why? It's so we can solve the problems of life. So we can find new methods of solving old problems and new problems. Because remember, as humanity evolves, as civilization evolves, we create new problems. In addition to that, we have the old-time problems that humans just have. There are certain things that just part and parcel of being human, living in a society of humans. But we can develop better ways of dealing with these problems. And that's what education is all about. Exposing yourself to knowledge, exposing yourself to the experiences of others through their books, because these are persons who lived centuries ago, some even thousands of years ago. We still have access to their experience through what they have written. So whether it is philosophy or science or mathematical formulae that they through countless hours of practice and trial and error, they derived, they uncovered from nature. And now we have access to all of this, and we take it for granted. We really do take it for granted. We are able now to open a mathematics book that might have hundreds of formulae in it, hundreds. Each of those might have taken one person his entire career, or several persons working at the same thing their entire careers or generations to derive that one formula. One. And we have access to dozens and dozens and dozens. We can just reel them off, and now we take them for granted. But you see, we're living in such a fortunate time. We are walking around on the shoulders of giants, as the passage said. So we having the problems that we have, the modern problems or the old-time problems that we still face, we have the perspective that no other human civilization has had. We have the perspective of millennia behind us that we can use. On top of that, we have the technology that will allow us to put it all together, to spread the information as well, to collaborate in real time with persons who are living on the other side of the globe. So no other generation has had this kind of perspective at our fingertips, literally at our fingertips. So we should be able now really to sit down and to brainstorm and to solve the problems of humanity. Now, as a scholar, when you are faced with other smaller problems, everyday problems, for example, in your mathematics textbook, the problem of finding the elusive x or the elusive y, remember that the questions are geared towards you getting the solution. So there will be clues. So just like a detective will have to sniff around looking for clues, looking for things that were left behind that can lead him or her to the solution. So you have the solution is in the problem. Go to the problem, underline the key words, underline the key figures, find out exactly what is this question asking me to do. What do they want me to find? Right? And look for those clues. The clues are there. If it is a comprehension passage, the clues are there. Remember, you have different levels of comprehension questions. So it might be the type of question that just wants you to answer specifically who did that, what color was he wearing, which day was it, right? So those are just the surface questions that you can just scan and pick up the answers. And then there are deeper questions that you will have to read between the lines and figure it out. But whatever the case may be, the answer is there. The answer is there. Just go back and read carefully and you'll be able to find the answer. So just pretend that you're a detective. Pretend that you need to solve this case. You need to find out. You're a private investigator. You need to get information for your client. Pretend that you are. Treat your work with that kind of attitude, right? And look for the clues and find your way to the solution. Use what you know to find out what you don't know. If you have been motivated by this video, don't hesitate to share the video so other persons can benefit. Other students, other teachers, other parents can be motivated. We all need to be motivated to stay on course. Please subscribe to the Kemet Maasai Academy, and remember, in addition to the motivational videos, we have mathematics videos from grade 4 to grade 11. So make sure that you take advantage of those. Click the notification bell so that you're alerted as soon as a new video is released, so you can stay on top of things. Whatever grade level you're at, stay ahead of your class, stay ahead of your teacher. Find out what topics will be done for that term or for the year, and make sure you watch the videos and stay ahead of the game. Right, my scholars? So I'll see you in the next videos. Take care.